So hello and welcome to session 2 of Homeschooling Hacks and Tips. I'm Elaine Basho. I'm back for another week of teaching more about homeschooling. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics that is, I am a homeschooling working parent. Help! How can I do it all? So I am a certified health coach. I own my own business. So I do that. I homeschool my 3 children, and I also help my husband, who also owns his own business. So literally I have 2 businesses that I need to take care of and homeschooling the kids. And on top of that, of course, I drive them to different activities. I cook and clean and all of that fun stuff. So one of the main questions that I get asked a lot is, Elaine, how do you do it all? So first of all, I just want to tell you, well, nobody can do it all. Just get that idea out of the picture. But I will share some tips with you that could help you do most of the things on most days, okay? So let's look at it. We're in a new season. We have new challenges. We've already talked about in session 1. But for working parents, what is really important is we no longer have that time, okay? Because in the past, we send our kids to school, so we have those times to either focus on our work or focus on something else, right? But now because the kids are at home with us 24/7, that precious chunk of time is taken away from us. And then of course the self-doubt, again, we talked about last time, is, oh my God, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I can't do it all. And the third one is, I can't be all to all. Like, how can I be a cook, a chauffeur, and mom and teacher and all of that all at once? Well, I'm going to share the biggest tip with you. That is something that I tell every working homeschooling mom or dad. And this is my tip, how I do it all. And that is something called time blocking, okay? What does time blocking look like? It literally is that you blocking off each time and giving that time to a specific task. And this is what my time blocking looks like. This is my schedule for the week. So every Sunday, when I do my meal planning for the week, I would sit down and I would map out or block out a set of times for the week, okay? So I do mine, I do mine in Excel because I'm visual, right? I'm the visual learner that we talked about, and I like mine to be color-coded. I know people who do it just on a piece of paper. I know people that do it on the day planner. It doesn't matter how you do it. The key is we need to assign a task to each time slot before it slips away from us, okay? Because if we don't, we're gonna get pulled in so many different directions. So let me give an example of what it looks like. So this was a week back in June. I start my morning at 7 and I give myself an hour of me time. And we're gonna talk about the importance of me time next week, because as a homeschooling mom, this is what keeps me sane, is the me time. Because think about it, your kids probably have had some really great teachers, right? I know my kids had some amazing teachers in their public school. And could you imagine if that teacher, who was always so kind and patient and fun and loving and all of that, if they were to have to just spend 24/7 with your kids 7 days a week, do you think she would still be so kind and patient and loving and kind and fun? I doubt it. She's able to accomplish that because she had time away from the kids, right? So we also need to do that. So my time is the morning, and I also end the day with an evening ritual, which I will talk about next week. And then at 8 o'clock, that's when we get together for breakfast, and then we do our family devotions. We study the Bible together. Sometimes we'll just kind of also move the body a little bit. And I let them choose out an essential oil for the day. There are some oils that helps with focus. There are some oils that helps with creativity. So I let them choose the oil so they feel empowered on how to create their day. And then they start school at 9 o'clock. And for the 3 children that I have, we need about 3 hours to do the schoolwork. And this is my time with them. These are the time when they need me right next to them to teach them. It's math, it's spelling, it's some of the science stuff. And this is the time when I would turn off my phone I tell, because I have a business and I have a team, and I tell them, well, don't call me in the morning because you know that I will not be able to respond back. I will call you back in the afternoon. So my team already knows, but that's my time to be with my children, to take care of their school. And then we take a break for an hour. I make lunch for them. We have lunch. And then the purple spots are the ones when I have to work. So I typically have a business training with my team on Mondays. And then I take them on this particular day. Joy has a dental appointment, so I take her to the dental appointment. I come home, do a little bit more work, and then I take them to another appointment, and then we have dinner and family time, and I close out the day. So as you can see, every day is similar but different because it depends on what appointments we have, what work schedule I have. But just by looking at this, I know when I need to do what. And this is one of the reasons why I love time blocking so much, and it has been working so well for me, is that it helps set expectations and boundaries. My kids know what is expected of them at each slot. Okay, they know that during school time, they can't come to me and say, can I watch TV? Because that's not going to fly. They just know that that's just school time. They might as well just sit down and do schoolwork. But that also helps me as a working parent set my boundaries, because my 5-year-old will still come to me, and I actually print this in the area where we do school, which is our dining room area. And I also print this outside print it and tape it on the door, on my door, and I close my door when I work. So if someone comes to me on Monday at 4 o'clock, they're like, oh, I want to spend time with mommy. They can just look at it and say, oh, but mommy is at work. Specifically, she's doing her coaching calls. Then they would know not to come to me during that time. So I use this as a way to set boundaries, okay? Now, and the second thing I love about it is this is how we do it all, okay? And it gives me a visual to shift gears. I know that when it's green, I put on my chef hat. That's when I start cooking. When it's yellow, I'm the teacher, okay? Then I shift gear, I become a teacher, and then I shift gear again, become a chef. And then it's purple, then I shift gear, become a business owner. And then when it's orange, I'm a chauffeur, okay? So you know, that is literally how we do it all, because if we don't set a time or block it out like that, again, when it's a certain time, I'm like, well, should I be a mom right now or should I be a teacher? What do I do? Or we would just be, again, pulled in so many different directions. So to have a focus for each time, it is so key. And also what is important is that it provides structure to the kids. You know, kids thrive under structure. I know a lot of parents would say, oh, no, my kids hate structure. They don't do well in structure. They like to go with the flow. Yes, I know that's true. However, I beg to differ in a way that when kids are in school, when it's 8 o'clock, when the bell rings, they know that they need to get in line and go into the classroom. At 10 o'clock, when the bell rings, they know that it's recess time and they're going out. And then when it's 12 o'clock, when the bell rings, they know to go into the cafeteria for lunch. So kids are already accustomed to following a schedule at school. So to ease the transition from doing school at a physical school to doing school at home, it actually would benefit them a lot to offer them a structure for them to follow. Now, I also want to say too, though, some people would be like, you know, I can't, this is really rigid. And honestly, we don't follow it 100%. I would say we'll probably do it about 70 to 80% most days. And some days we literally don't follow anything. But at least the kids really like it when they see that there is a schedule that they could follow, okay? So that's the, and the fourth thing is that it helps me improve my productivity, because I know, okay, on Friday, I only have 2.5 hours that I plug in for work. I need to do my newsletter. I need to call 10 people to invite them to my next class. And all of that, if I want to get them done and not cut into my family nighttime, I better get that done. So I have less of a tendency to lollygag or multitask or do like too many things. I want to stay focused on what I need to get done. So it really helps me with my productivity with work. But the last thing that actually helps me the most in terms of time blocking is that it removes the mommy guilt. How many of you have felt the mommy guilt? And that is when you're working, right? When you're working, and for me, it's my 5-year-old that comes to me and bring me a book and say, Mommy, could you read me a book? And I'm in the middle of my work block. And I'm like, oh, baby, Mommy is working. Look, I'm in the middle of my work block, but you know what? Family time is coming up soon. And I promise you that first thing I do during family time is to read you this book. Could you hold on to this book? And so instead of sending them away and say, well, work is more important than you, I actually help shift that and say, well, right now, this time is when mommy do this. So, but when family time's up, you get first shot. So it really helps me with my guilt. It also helps them as they learn. Again, this is the boundary setting. So that's why I love time blocking. And this is really one of the best tools that I have utilized when it comes to homeschooling, working, doing all of that at home. Any questions so far?
Yes.
Yes.
I would absolutely love to do this. This would be my natural inclination to do this, but we have 6 people living in the house, and they don't, if I had this, they would not respect it. And I have a teenager living in the house. I have to drive to work right now. She doesn't have her driver's license. And she goes to work I either have to take her at 9:30, 10:30, or 11:30. And I'm really stressed about that right now because that's right in the prime time of schooling. So that's part of what's really frustrating me. So I'm not quite sure. I would love to do this, but I'm not quite sure how to make it work.
The only ones that I would hold accountable for with this is probably you and your 2 grandkids. Because for the teenager, well, I don't know, for the other people in the house, right? They're older, I won't make them comply to this. However, because you're responsible for the school of the 2 grandkids, right? I won't make one just for the 3 of you, because they are the one that needs to respect your boundaries. And they need to know that, in a certain time, I can't just go and buck grandma because, she has all these other things.
Okay.
And I also, like what I mentioned too, is we don't even follow this 100%, right? But we follow it enough to bring relief and to bring help. And this is really what I use when I say, well, mommy needs some time, because look at it, I'm really in the middle of my work time, and they respect that. So I would say for the first 2 weeks, as you learn to implement this, follow that as much as possible. But once they get into the hang of it, you can be a little bit more, or you can just block out, okay, from 10:30 to 11:30, that could be my time to take the kids to work or something like that. So you can make it as rigid or as flexible as you can, as you wish.
Okay.
Yeah, does that help?
Yeah, it does.
I know, and do you have some really unique, you're in a very unique situation too.
Yes, I am.
Yes. But I also wanted to share, because a lot of people would ask me, well, the purple time slots are the ones that's very, very intriguing. They're like, well, while you're working, what do the kids do? Right? I mean, I can put purple there, but hey, what about them? That is when they do their self-directed projects. So the yellow spot, remember, are the time that I have to sit next to them and teach them, but they could do a lot of different things on their own, especially for a 9 and an 11-year-old, they can do a lot on their own. So my son is learning about coding. So there's actually apps that actually would let him practice coding. So he does coding exercises. There are games, there are math games that they play. They're like card games that I have my kids play that would help reinforce some math facts and things like that. Piano, they take piano or they practice piano while I'm in my purple spot. My girls loves crafts, so I always have some crafts projects and stuff around for them to do. And there are also something called subscription kits. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, the Kiwi Crate, where they send you a whole box, and in the box there's all the materials and supplies for science projects, sometimes it's craft. they love it. They have so much fun. So I would save those for, you know, some days when they need some time for that. They're learning apps and activities that I am really restricted on screen time. I don't like my kids to be on screen too much, but there are some learning apps that are so, so good. They actually learn to do math. My kids one time actually asked to do math on a Sunday, believe it or not, because it's a game and they actually learn math along the way. So there's a lot of those things that you can use. But most importantly, I kick them outside when I work and I say, hey, go out and play. As long as the weather is nice enough for them to be outside, I want them outside playing. Especially they're very high energy, my 3 kids. So I want them to be outside in a trampoline. I want them to be biking around. I don't want them to be cooped up in the house. So the purple slots are kind of, these are some of the things for them. Okay. Okay, great. So that's it. Oh, this is for next week. And I actually added it in here. So yeah, that's it. So any questions regarding how to do it all? And for me, the biggest thing is time blocking. That's how I do it all, how to get it all done. Any questions or comments?
I had a question about when you said you were a chauffeur and you had, I noticed swimming, Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
There's, you know, several, it looked like extracurricular activities,
Mm-hmm.
like art class. How do you find all of those? Because I
Great.
really would like to get them involved in some things where they're with other kids for the, you know, just so they can get out of the house and see someone besides me.
Yes. I will cover this, I think in the last session, but
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you right now since, I mean, okay, let me just turn it off and then I'll talk to you directly.
Okay.
Stop recording.